My name is Don Langston. I'm the president and CEO of Aire Rite Air Conditioning, Refrigeration, and a lot of other services. Our roots are in commercial HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. And we started it in February of 1972. So if you really look at the first 20 years of the business approximately, that was really the core of the business, that first 20 years. My father worked his butt off, and he was the first person in his family to actually own a house or at least have a mortgage on a house, and just did his best to provide for us. It was always interesting to see every couple of years he would show up at the house with a new truck or a van with a different name on it. I just remember that growing up. And then finally, there wasn't a big discussion about it. I heard some things that he was thinking about going into business for himself. And then this little tiny, at the time, Nissan, back then was called Datsun, shows up at the house, and I'm like looking at this thing and I'm laughing. I'm like, what is that? He goes, that's my new truck. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that was kind of funny. If we start back with my parents, right? So my mom was integral from the very beginning because she was doing the books. The business was ran out of our house at the time. My dad worked for a couple of years before he hired on his first kind of an apprentice level. Then that guy didn't work out. Then he hired another guy, and then finally, he hired a journeyman level technician that could actually fix things and not break things, and it kind of grew from there, But so my mom's always been involved with the business throughout the 70s and going into the early 80s.
Well, my husband always had a dream about the business, always wanting to have his own business. So we borrowed $5,000 from my mom and dad, and $5,000 we took out a home equity loan, and we had the office in the house, so it was real cheap to run, and the garage was full. Yeah, I think his dream was to have a total of 5 servicemen. So now I think we have like close to 140 people. So that was kind of amazing. When I go by the building, you have to make a U-turn and go by there, and every time I go by, I kind of, not all the time, but a lot of times I wave, and say, see what you did?
My name's Megan Langston. I am 3rd generation at Aire Rite, my family's business. My grandfather started it. My dad now runs it, and then I have the privilege to help carry on the legacy. My family is like any other family, right? Except I get to work with them. So my dad is really loud. He has a great personality. And my uncle is a little bit more quiet, more reserved. And then, my grandmother is also more quiet and reserved. My grandfather, who's no longer with us, he was also pretty loud and funny, and just, you always wanted to be around him. Working in a family business, has its challenges because, we're family. So at the end of the day, we love each other. Working for different large corporations and then coming back into the fold of the family business was something that I really cherish and feel very privileged to be able to do.
Our goal is to bring something back that was broken and fix it as quickly as possible for the best value. Or if we're replacing a piece of equipment, that we're actually making something better than that was there before. So we've consistently been able to deliver that over the decades, otherwise we wouldn't be here. Things do happen, but we're going to stand behind our work, and we're going to be here when they call, and we've done that for over 50 years.